Stay tuned and let's take a look at this Toy Biz 1995 Fantastic Four Invisible Woman. Wait, what's that? There's a new one? You mean this one? Pow, and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And remember, you can now hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Quite simply, show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. And no, I promise you, this isn't an empty box. It is, of course, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Marvel Legends Retro Fantastic Four Invisible Woman in this very nice translucent packaging. And it's called retro because this card back is, of course, an homage, a recreation of this Toy Biz 5-inch toy line from 1995. That is why it's called retro packaging, and it definitely hits that nostalgia sweet spot for my collecting habits, as I remember having not just the Fantastic Four cards, but the Spider-Man, the X-Men, the Iron Man cards that were yet to get recreated. But yeah, these are definitely for the nostalgic collector, and what's great about these is that you can display them or open them for the brand new 6-inch Marvel Legends as well. So it's a nice way to get out reissues. I'm not mad about it, and yeah, they've got me for two because of course I need to keep this card mint in packaging, but I also need Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman, inside because we're yet to get a fully translucent Sue from the Marvel Legends era. But yeah, this is looking very nice, and you can see they've beautifully recreated the packaging. The only thing that's missing is the sort of foily effect around the silver, but still I can forgive that. On the back of the card, they've done exactly the same, sort of got those same elements where you've got the Invisible Woman at the top, a callback to the action feature, and then a list of the figures in the wave. So look, back in 1995, you could actually buy a Thanos figure before he was known to most people in the general public. You could also get a chrome sort of vac metal Silver Surfer, which people would love this day and age, and a Fire Lord that we were hoping to get as the Herald of Galactus in the recent HasLab. Hopefully we do get him in 2022, but we shall see. And then this side, you get the same sort of style, but it is of course that Fantastic Four retro wave. The only one they're missing there is the Johnny Storm. That is also a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. But yeah, beautifully done. There is a little write-up that reads, after receiving superpowers, Sue Storm Richards co-founds the Fantastic Four and emerges as the single most powerful member of the group. All right, so let me move this retro one out of the way because today we are opening up this Fantastic Four Invisible Woman. As I said, I'm very curious to see what this translucent plastic looks like, and we can compare her to some of the other Sues that we already have. Let's get her open. So here we have the Invisible Woman out of the packaging with all of her accessories, and I've switched to the black so she's a little bit easier to see. But first impressions, this translucent plastic is very nice. It definitely gives the effect of like a water or ice, but it works. It works for what it's meant to be. It's a translucent figure. If we really wanted an accurate translucent figure, this is what we'd have. Obviously, we don't want that. We want it to represent her abilities on the shelf, and this is what this figure can do. And if you're an action figure fan in general, this is just an interesting figure because you can sort of see all the joints and the inner workings in the figure, but they're not like crazily obvious. Like, obviously, it would have been impossible not to have them in there. But yeah, they're there, and they just, I don't know, I just like the figure. When the light hits it a little bit, as I said, it gives her a little glisten like she's made of water or she's made of ice. And I will compare it to some of the other translucent legends that we've got in the past. But yeah, first impressions, I like it. It does what it's meant to do. It represents Sue in her invisible sort of astral form, if you will. And yeah, I like it. So let's zoom in. Now, starting up top, I can only assume this is the same Sue head sculpt that comes on the regular version in the wave, because I don't have that figure in hand yet. And a lot of people are hating on that head sculpt due to the paint job. But you can see here, if this is the same head, the sculpt's decent enough. Because you can see all the nice facial features on there. The hair sculpt is really good. And yeah, taking a closer look at this plastic, it looks like it's got like a hint of blue. Now, I'm not too sure if that's just the way that light travels through this plastic, sort of gives it like the blue tint because of the shadows it's creating. But it just looks nice. So if I spin around, as the light hits it, you can sort of see how the shadows and the lights hit the sculpt and sort of bring it out. But again, to represent a woman who's meant to be invisible, you can't be mad at this attempt from Hasbro. It's more than an attempt, it's an execution, and it works very nicely. Now, looking at her shoulders, you can actually see the joints in there, but they're still made of another type of translucent plastic as well. So it's not like they're just white or they're black. They're still attempted to be somewhat translucent. They're just got a bit more of a white tint compared to the rest of the plastic, but you can see them in there and it works nicely. So again, if you're an action figure fan in general, you can sort of see all the mechanics of an action figure here. On the shoulder, for example, you got the single jointed elbow, so you can sort of see how that peg works. And yeah, just a nice little lesson for action figure fans. But again, for what it's meant to represent, an invisible woman, you cannot be mad at the efforts here. This is very nice. Now, the body is a sort of standard Marvel Legends female body we've seen before, I am assuming. But yeah, it's definitely made of like a cleary white plastic. And then, yeah, there's different, this piece looks a little bit more like clear than the legs, for example. Now, I don't know if that's because this is like a thicker plastic for the legs, for the sturdiness, and they could do like a thinner sort of plastic up here. I don't know. I am just taking educated guesses, but the torso area definitely looks like a lighter, sort of clearer plastic compared to the upper torso and then the lower legs. And maybe it comes across on camera, I'm not too sure. But again, spinning around, she looks really nice. And there are pins, obviously, and if I look at those pins, they are, again, they have attempted to make them somewhat translucent, but they have got a bit more white in there. But still, it works. So yeah, this is nice, all the way down to the feet. As I said, even the feet, shoes are translucent. Now, all I can do is assume that this is the same Sue Storm we got in the regular wave, but now she's made completely translucent. But if that's the case, the head sculpt's not bad, people. As I said, it has all the features, it works, it looks good. But yeah, just there, while we're here, the articulation, even though it's made of a translucent plastic, is all still there for a female. Single jointed elbows, shoulders go up to 90, well, yeah, past 90 a little bit. She's got the ball joint there on the waist area. No crunch, of course, no waist swivel, but you've got all the movement up here to do that, and you can still move it. Doesn't feel brittle either, by the way. It's not like it's made of a softer plastic or anything like that. It sort of still has that Marvel Legends feel to it. The legs, there's a thigh cut up there, as you can see, and double jointed knees. She can kick her own arse, yes she can. Ankle pivot and rocker, which you can sort of again see the mechanics of that in Legends form. And if I zoom in, can you see what I'm talking about with the different style of plastic, as it's sort of got more of a blue tint up to the sort of clear plastic? Because if I put my hand behind her, you can sort of see my hand when it goes behind her. So she is clear, she is invisible to a certain extent. So yeah, I like this. She comes with two open palm hands that we get with all female Marvel Legends straight out of the box. We do get a set of fisted hands as well, of course, that have the same sort of sideward hinge. And obviously now it's translucent, you can sort of see how deep into the forearm the peg goes as well, which is pretty nice to see. So obviously she has those hands, but she also comes with an effect piece, which is this translucent shield that we have seen before from Legends. It's come on with a previous Sue Storm. But it's got no grip or anything like that. It's just got a hole. So I'm going to have to swap her hands out to get her holding it, because the fisted hands won't work with this accessory piece. But just taking a look at the accessory first, you can sort of see it's like a sort of effect, and it has sort of a whiter swirl in there for when the plastic sort of gets a little bit thicker, but it works. It's sort of like she's creating it out of her energy and whatnot. And yeah, this has like a blue sort of tint to the plastic. But let's get her holding it. So there we have Sue holding her energy effect. And at first I thought no handle was a little bit iffy, but then if you swing it around and look from the inside, as I said, you sort of just squeeze her fingers into the gap. But now it looks like she's creating this energy out of her fingers. Like there's no handle to hold, there's no awkwardness. It genuinely looks like this shield is coming straight off her energy, which is a nice touch. And because it's all translucent, it works. It's a little bit heavy though on the hinge, as you can see. It's sort of making the hinge, but you can twist the hand and get it to sort of stand out where you want. But yeah, there's a hole in there, and then you see the fingers. I'm assuming this will work with both hands. You just squeeze the fingers into that hole, and it will create a grip. There you go, like so. So yeah, you just attach it to the fingers, but it creates a nice touch. I'd rather this than a handle if it works, and it does work. Looks very nice. She's genuinely manifesting that effect from her own abilities, and there you go. It looks very, very nice. So I like it. So let's jump into some comparisons of the Invisible Woman Sue Storm compared to Sue when she's not invisible. So here we have two versions that I've got in the collection. We have the Walgreens exclusive version here, which has the translucent arm, I'll show you in a second, and then the Dan Slott modernized Fantastic Four here in the black and the blue. Obviously the new one with the blue and the white, the more classic look, I don't have yet, but still, this Invisible Woman can fit in any of the Fantastic Four collections that you have because she's in her invisible form. It doesn't matter which your favorite uniform is, this Invisible Woman will fit in any of them. I always like this Walgreens one because it had the translucent effect, but we never got the option to sort of swap out and have a full normal arm. I would have much preferred a full translucent figure. So all these years later, we actually have that. We've actually got the Invisible Woman now fully translucent. I'm curious if any of these heads will swap. And yes, the head does seem like it will swap on any of these Sue Storms. So what I've done is put the translucent head onto this original Walgreens exclusive, which had the translucent arm. So now it looks like she's changing even more so. Now, the colours of the plastic don't exactly match, as that obviously has to blend into the green. But still, it sort of works, does the job. And then here we have that head on the fully translucent Sue Storm as well. So if she wanted to just be a floating head and scare some people, I guess you could do that as well. But we now have options for the display if you've been buying all of these figures like I have, and I like options. Now, I said at the start, it sort of looks like she's made of water or ice. So here we have her compared to two Marvel Legend Iceman figures. Obviously, we have the original one that we got with Hasbro and then the AOA version, which is definitely more blue than transparent. This figure, though, again, it was sort of translucent, but it had the blue tint, which it should for Iceman. It should have the blue tint, but it was very flimsy. Like, even to this day, this figure feels like it's made of a different plastic, and it's just a bit loose. Like, I'm not a massive fan of loose figures, where Sue is definitely more clear. Like, it doesn't really have that blue tint as strong as these two. Again, I just think it's the way the light hits the plastic and it sort of makes those shadows. But she definitely feels a lot sturdier than that previous Bobby Drake. So yeah, you can sort of see what I mean. But yeah, Sue definitely more clear than those two. Now, another clear Marvel Legend that came to mind is this Ghost figure that was a grail of mine for a long time, as I missed out on that San Diego Comic-Con Thunderbolts box set. But thanks to the host of the Infinity Equation podcast, Dante Dark Joker Zen, he hooked me up with my grail, and now it is in the collection. So I'm very grateful, my friend. Thanks again. And here he is compared to Sue. And to be fair, Sue definitely looks a lot more blue than the clear plastic on this Ghost. So this Ghost figure's on a terrible body mold. He's got those like old style terrible legs, but it's still a very nice figure that stands out in a Marvel Legends collection. And yeah, he is definitely more of a clear plastic than Sue is. But yeah, she definitely looks blue when you compare her to him, but not as blue as Iceman, if that makes sense. Now, I obviously needed to see what Sue looked like in a full team of the Fantastic Four. So here we have her compared to the Dan Slott versions in the modernized uniforms. But as I said, this version of Sue will fit in with any team as she is fully translucent. The uniforms don't have to match. So here we have the Thing, Reed Richards, and her brother Johnny Storm, of course. And yeah, she fits right in. This is a very nice figure that we needed for our shelves. As I said, I appreciate options, and she looks great. Let's bring her brother back in and see how she compares with the other Marvel Legends Hasbro Pulse exclusive from this Fantastic Four retro line, which is of course Johnny Storm in his normal uniform. And again, these look great. Make sure you stick around on the channel as I'll be reviewing him too. Check the videos tab. Here we have her compared to two of our random Fantastic Four related characters with Kang the Conqueror and of course She-Hulk. And of course, finally, last but by no means least, here we have Invisible Woman Sue Storm compared to Worthy Hellfire Hank and Captain Britain. So, final thoughts as she spins round the rotating base. This is a very nice version of Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman. A version I've been wanting for a while. Considering we have 3 different versions of the Fantastic Four in this Hasbro era, it would have been nice to mix up the displays as you can do with the Flame On, Flame Off Johnny Storm. Now we can do that same type of thing with Sue, and we can have one of our versions of the team with a completely translucent Sue, which I appreciate. And it's a very nicely done figure as well. Let's be honest, it's pretty hard and virtually impossible impossible to give it as accurate unless they give us an empty box. So I will take this every day of the week. And as I said, it's on that nice retro card as well, a throwback to the original. So even if you don't want to open it, it's a nice display piece, and it's all about what it represents, isn't it? It's a nice figure, and please make sure you try and get your hands on it if you want to add it to your collection on Hasbro Pulse while it's in stock. I got mine from Hasbro Pulse UK, so it's in stock. Go and grab it. But as always, people, you know what to do. If you like Marvel Legends reviews, then trust me, you're in the right place. Go and check out the videos tab. Hundreds of reviews and plenty more to come. Live streams, all that good stuff. So if you don't want to miss out, please hit that subscribe button. Much appreciated. You can also hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Quite simply show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. You can follow me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. I'm on Twitter as well. Tweet me, Dan Who Reviews. And until next time, my name is Dan W. And I will, of course, see you on the next one.